time we're here, and we have a great interview today. We have somebody that's coming up that we all know, we all see every time we do this show. We're going to interview our very own MC today, Mr. Charles Matthew. And he's got a lot of entertaining stuff to do or to say. But also, we're gonna find out how good he is with technology because he had some technical difficulties in the background. But stay tuned, and we'll see you guys in a bit. And see if my IT guy doesn't work properly in the background. But anyways, we're going to start off with the show, I guess. We're going to start off by bringing in our panelists, our crew here. And we're going to bring in the one and only Mr. Nick Alampi from Andrew's Formals. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, how are you? How are you?
Good, buddy. Good. So I just want, before we bring Britza in and before we bring our guest in, I don't know if you were on backstage, and I think we're having, he's having some technical difficulties today.
What do you mean, no technical difficulties? We're just doing this because you weren't on for the last 2 episodes, so you're the focus point now.
Oh, so yeah, now I'm getting picked on. All right, let's bring Britza in to see what she has to say about this.
There we
guys,
go.
How are you? Yeah, you know what? It is true. Jimmy wasn't on the show for the past 2 shows, so I think it's only fair that we pick on him for a little bit. But today we have a great guest. He's the one and only Charles from CMJ Entertainment, and he's always picking on us, so we can kind of point over on him right now. So everybody, let's welcome Charles.
Wow.
So
you saw that, right?
Yeah. You see that? This is why I said that, you remember how you guys saw how I paused? I was waiting for the commercial to come on, right? And then he didn't do it, so then I had to continue. But let's talk a little bit before we get started, Charles. Let's talk a little bit about that relationship that you have with Alexa, where she wasn't working earlier. What was going on there, my friend?
Alexa's fine. Watch. Alexa, what time is it? See? 5:14 p.m.
Wait. Ask Alexa to turn off your lights.
See, she's fine. She's good. Everything's all good and gravy. See,
right? So we're using today's focus is on Charles and his MC capability, or Charles on how he caters to facilities and events. Which is the angle here?
We're gonna focus on everything that Charles does, and that includes the technological aspect.
That's not fair.
No.
I'm just kidding. No.
Lisa,
We're gonna focus.
It is fair.
Everybody,
I liked it better when we could have did throwbacks. Why did we conception of doing this show? Charles, Britza, Jimmy,
Nick, you have it back. You have it backwards.
No, you're there.
Like you're like freaking all over the place, man.
Listen, I made sure that I don't have technical difficulty because I was getting tired of always freezing.
But Nick, hold on, Nick.
Everything's reversed, Nick. Everything's reversed. Okay, everything's reversed.
Okay, well, before anything, I want to say thank you, Charles, because I don't think that the guys give enough credit to what you do. Seriously, like I spoke to you earlier, and and everybody's like, "Where's the link? Why is it on?" And I'm like, the poor guy just needed a minute.
It's all it is, people. Just sometimes you just need to exhale, and then we go for it.
But
then we do what we got to do.
About.
But hold on, okay. So let's start off a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about Charles. So Charles, tell us a little bit.
Hold on. Let me just shout out Letitia. Letitia, what's going on? Thank you so much for joining us. If you haven't seen Letitia's show, you got to check her out. She's always giving great advice on your business. So check her out. All right. Go ahead, my friend.
So that actually is a very nice segue there. Thank you, Letitia, for that. So Charles, I know that because you're an MC. You do MC services. That's one of the services you offer. But you also offer a multiple amount of other services as well. that you work with other vendors in conjunction with weddings, right?
Yes, that's
But
correct.
your main focus is emceeing, correct?
Yes, emceeing, because what I found out is I get more joy out of emceeing, and in this industry, you got to find that one thing that brings you all that joy. So emceeing is what really pops it off for me. Don't get me wrong, everybody. I love event planning. I love setting it up, but when you put the mic in my hand and I could talk to your audience, your guests, and your family to make them feel fun, that's where it's at.
Awesome. And what you've been doing. So tell us a little bit, like, the transition that you've taken now with this whole COVID thing, because everybody's tired of this freaking COVID.
Well,
You know,
see,
right?
it's straight online. I've been doing special events online. So if you have an event and you don't know how to do it, I've been helping corporates, brides, weddings by producing an online event like this. And we've been doing it online. Last night we had a great event. We gave away scholarships to 5 fantastic people, and we did it live on air, just like this. And it has a little bit of difference of not being in front of people. But the main thing is to get the awareness out that we gave away scholarships. And there's nothing better than talking to each other. And we can joke around like how we're doing right now. And we had a fantastic show. We had a live band, live singer. So it's there. So we can still do it.
Right.
So, Charles,
and I guess, wait, before you could, so like Rizzo was saying, we don't give you enough credit, because if it wasn't because of you, we wouldn't be able to stream in every different aspect. So, let again, big shout out to Charles, because he's the one that has taken on the IT and role, and that's why I was picking on you earlier, because the fact that you were having problems with technology made it even more fun.
Well, listen, Jimmy, man, you ever put that mix on and you go to mix it and it doesn't mix properly, and you're looking at you're like, what's going on here? You're looking at your DJ equipment like it's got to be the DJ equipment.
It gets possessed. So Alexa was possessed for a little bit there.
Just for a bit. That's for a bit.
Okay, so Charles, I want to kind of go back a little bit, because I don't think we've ever talked about how you started into all this. What made you become an MC? Like, how did it all become? Like,
how I got started?
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. I'll tell you how I get started. This person right here. All right. So here, long story short. So I got into not really MC work. I was never MC. I worked a friend of mine named Richard Banton. In '94, he came to work at a school, and I knew his voice. I said, I know your voice. And then, long story short, he says, yeah, I'm Richard. So he took me to the radio station. And then he's like, answer some phones. So I'm answering phones, just helping him out. And then he comes back on air and he says, yes, we're live and people have been calling in. And he says, okay, Charles, what they have to say? And he gave me the mic. And I'm like, and it's like sink or swim. You know what I mean? So I started talking, and then people would call in, who's the new guy? Who's the new guy? He's cool. Who's the new guy? And then that's how I got started. I started on radio at 105.5 Richard Banton radio dub plate. And my job was to introduce the phone number, the flyers, entertainment. So then that's where I got the voice from, and people just knew me as the voice. And they were like, say the number. So I'd be like, you're listening to 105.5, 416-736-5656. Your live stream is live. Check us out. Next tunes. And that's all I did over and over again.
The gift of gab. Look at that. That was so smooth.
And that's how I got started.
So that reminds me of another gentleman that is exactly like that. I'm pretty sure you know who he is, which is Mr. Les Brown. That's exactly what what he kind of used to do.
Yep.
So it's very interesting that that you do that, and that's how you got into it.
That's how we got started. And then when I was getting married and I needed a suit, and of course there's only one place to get a suit, all right, and that's Andrew's Formals right there.
Yeah.
And we were talking, and then he's like, why don't you get into the wedding and stuff? You do MC work. And I'm like,
no. Hold on. The true story. Hey, Charles, you handle problems really well. How do you do that? I don't know. I just do it. And you got the gift of gab, man. I'm really impressed with that. Let's say the truth here, because Chuck the model. Let's get back to Chuck the model was the original angle.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, like the fact that, Charles got into this and then he just we do special events. We're all vendors that do special events. We all help with problem solving. Charles just has that personal knack of walking into a room and saying, this is how it should go to make it run smoothly. And the most amazing part about it is Charles will even say, let me get that energy going because it's just too dry. And he has that capability. And I think that's the most amazing thing about him. And the fact that, okay, you know what, Charles, you can make a little more. Let's get into the wedding business. There's that angle. Let's be honest about it.
That's what he said. Charles, he's like, get into it. He's like, the wedding. I'm like, I don't know, Nick. He's like, yeah, open up a company, do this, do that. And I'm like, something, you might have something there. So I tried it in 97 and opened up CMJ Entertainment. And from there, I've met great people like yourselves. And then it just snowballed. And then the wedding industry, it does suck you in.
Yeah.
Only because of the brides, the grooms, what you can do to help them. And afterwards, they're like, they say, Jimmy, Breeza, that was the best wedding ever. All my friends had a great time. Thanks for DJing. Thanks for that. Oh, Nick, man, my groom looked fantastic. Hey, Chuck, you made us feel like just getting that feedback.
Yeah.
It makes us want to do another one. Yeah. It's the bride telling us and the groom telling us. And then, is that aunt that we don't know about, that uncle that comes up to you and says, hey, Jimmy, thank you so much for playing those songs. It brought me back when I was younger. How can you pass that up? That's why I do it. That's why I want to keep doing it.
Now, Charles, I work with a lot of vendors myself. We all do in this industry. And I always have to explain what the role of an MC is. But my version of what the role of an MC is very different than an MC explaining what his role as an MC is. Can you kind of walk us through what the role of an MC is? Because a lot of people have the misconception that it's, ladies and gentlemen, there is a car parked outside.
Well, here's a twofold because I'm an event planner and I've done special events like weddings, concert, TV shows, like Nick was saying. I should do fashion shows back in the day. When I can't just sit down. So when you hire me, you get kind of a twofold. So let me explain. As an MC, you actually get sort of a wedding planner as well. Because I can't just sit there, and Jimmy knows too, because Jimmy, you've been in the industry so long, and see things going sideways and not jump up and do something. So as an MC, usually I'll make sure the bride is taken care of. I'll go to the wait staff and ask them to bring them cocktails in the back. I'll make sure the guests are on time. I set them up in the background, line them up. I work with the DJ to make sure that the songs are in order and stuff like that. So a true MC is the person that controls the whole event from start to finish. From the time your guests walk in to the time the guest leaves, the flow, working with the maitre d', working with the bartender. Does the bar close at a certain time? That's your job to let people know. Finding out from the photographer, what time are they leaving? How many shots do they want? So a true MC should be finding out all this information and help run it smoothly. That's why they ask you, not just to call up the next person. Anybody can call up the next person. But
nope, I gotta disagree with you. I gotta disagree with you.
What story do you have, Jimmy? What happened?
Not anybody can just call anybody.
I can't.
Right? Because I've been for the past, I've been away. So yep. I've been doing functions.
Yeah.
And let's just say I was at a function, and they had one of the brother of the bride or something like that.
Yep.
And when they were doing the introductions, they're like, yeah, so let's get started. We're going to introduce the bride and the groom. Give it up. And then he completely forgot that he had introduced the parents of the bride and his own parents and the flower girl and ring boy. Okay. And then he turns around and goes, oh, wait, no, never mind. It was a mistake. We're going to start with this. It's like, I'm like, yeah, this is why you should have allowed us or hired a proper MC to do this kind of work. Yeah. Because that's why you hire a professional, right? You hire somebody like yourself.
But here's
exactly what's happening, right?
But here's the thing, though. I've realized that a lot of bride and grooms want to include their brother, the brother-in-law, because they want them to give them something. And they said, oh, my brother-in-law is going to do it, or my sister-in-law, or somebody. And I always say to them, you know something? That's fine, but let me or a professional help them to go forth. So, for example, I will call them up so they can do what they have to do. I will be there to remind them what's the next steps. Show them, okay, now it's go. My job is to say to the brother-in-law, okay, go introduce the father of the bride, and after that, they're doing the father-daughter dance, and then he goes up and does that. Because, like you said, they're all scared. They don't know what they're doing. They get this big form, and they're like, okay, do I do it now? Do I say it now? Do I look at the DJ? Is the DJ going to push play? Do I say push play, DJ? I've had some MCs, family members go, all right, we're going to have the father-daughter dance now. DJ, push play.
Yeah,
and
I've heard that a lot.
And just announce it. I'm like, he knows he's got to push. Never mind.
But remember, at that point, they are the MC, so they control the night. They need to make sure that they tell people.
Exactly. Right? And then sometimes you have family members that don't know. How do you say this eloquently? Don't know when to shut up.
Politically correct.
Politically
correct.
Because the thing is, as an MC, okay, you need to know how far to push and when too much is too much. Yeah. Okay, and when to say something and when not to spill too much of the business. Because sometimes when people are not professional, they try to be funny and then they overdo it and then they'll say something they should never have said.
Right, but I'm going to stop you there. And I'm going to say, see, this is the point of professionalism that we talked about, Charles, and that's what I was saying to you. Like, you pointed out some good things about how you make sure that certain things occur, how you prevent certain things, how you prevent anything from happening, like the plates being set off when they're doing their speeches and all that stuff. Those are things that maybe brides and grooms should ask. What are the other skill levels of an MC? Are you just going to stay behind that podium and just say a few things? Like, that's something that's different. And I think, at the end of the day, you're / wedding planner / MC / event person / manager of the event. Is that maybe a title that should be created?
Well,
because we don't talk about that.
I agree with you, Nick. And here's the one thing I always say. If you're going to hire an MC, in my opinion, and this is just straight my opinion, an MC should be there from start to finish.
Yeah.
Okay. Not leaving after the first dance start, not leaving here. Because if anything needs to be announced, if anything needs to be said, any emergency or something, they're going to run around and look for a microphone or something. That's why a true MC should be there from start to finish. At the end of the night, saying goodnight. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this will be the last dance. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, there's a taxi outside. Thank you so much for coming. On behalf of the bride and groom, we'd love to thank you and do like the final announcements is always just as important as the beginning announcements. So if you're looking for a true MC, they should be there from start to finish, not leaving after the first dance. Yeah. Or trying to rush everybody to, okay, we got to do garter. This, because I got to go. No.
So Charles, to that though, so I don't think sometimes it's the MC rushing or whoever's doing those particular roles. Sometimes it's the the photography and video guys that want to leave at 9 o'clock.
Well, right. So here's my thing with that. I've always talked with the bride and groom, and I've always asked them as a proper MC. I always said to you, so who did you hire as a DJ? Who did you hire as an MC? Because it's my job to find these people out and then call them. I always call every vendor and say, hi, I'm going to be MC of the night. What is your protocols? What time are you leaving? Do you have to get certain shots? What package did they pick so I know that you need after the wedding, before the garter, before this, like certain things so I know. And then I also talked to your bride and said, listen, your photographer is leaving at 11. So that means if you want this, we have to kind of rush this to put this in there. If you don't care about the garter and stuff, then we'll just keep everybody has to be on the same page. Yeah. Not when the bride and groom having fun and the photographer goes, well, I gotta go, and they didn't do the bouquet yet. And then I go to the DJ and go, hey Jimmy, cut the music because they gotta do this.
And then I give you this look. Be like, what you talk about, Willis? We're not doing that right now.
Exactly. Like I don't want to cut. Like we're pumping it up. Jimmy's hitting the music, and I'm like, all right, getting them all pumped and everything.
Got the groove going.
And then the groom's going in. I see grandma on the dance floor doing the jig and everything.
Stop.
And then all of a sudden we gotta be like, oh, you gotta leave? Okay, yeah. All right, cut it. We're gonna do the bouquet. Everybody's gonna look at it. The thing is, they're gonna look at the DJ first. Then they're gonna look at me.
Is that the cue to get that out of there?
Yeah, and that's the problem. So everybody is gotta be on the same page, no matter what they're doing, to just make sure that everybody's on point.
Awesome. And now here's another question for you that what you call it, when as the MC, is one of your duties to do the toast for the bride and groom?
Yes and no, and I'll tell you why. When I MC a wedding, I give my brides a form. So it's funny enough, it's a 5-page form that they have to fill out, and they fill it out in front of me, because as they're filling it out, I'm getting to know them. I'm getting to know them, their family, when they first met, their favorite food, when they kissed, a little bit about them. Because the night of, when I'm calling out and doing jokes and calling out people, and I say, hey, that same time Uncle Roy fell into the pool, and then the family starts laughing, and they're like, how did he know Uncle Roy fell in the pool? Because there's certain questions on the form that I'm gathering to what I'm emceeing. I'm part of the family now. I knew he fell in the pool with the hot dogs carrying it. Didn't see this, you know what I mean? Like, I know he slipped in, and we can just joke around, and that's the bonding that I want to make. So sometimes if they ask me to do the toast, I'll say yeah, because I feel comfortable to do it, because I feel like I'm part of the family. But if some people don't know them as an MC, I tell them, don't do it. Because what are you toasting to? You're just going to do a regular toast to the bride and groom. Clink. Okay, that was
yeah, but to that point, Charles, sometimes those are the regular toasts that come out of people's mouths anyways.
So, and then here's the other service that I do. I actually let people know if they need tips when they're going up to do their speech, they can always call me. So if dad is scared to do a speech, the best man is scared, I always say, hey, here's my number. Give it to anybody that's doing a speech that night, and I will help them out.
And now, Charles, you've mentioned previously before that you did Toastmasters, right?
I've done Toastmasters to learn, because with Toastmasters, you got to learn about the ums, the ahs, how to draw a crowd in, how to handle a crowd. If the crowd's not listening, how do you make them listen? How do you get them involved? Because, as you know, Jimmy, a bride and groom, it's their night. They want all the attention. So how do you get a 300 audience of guests having fun, drinking, eating, whatever, just to turn it off and turn it back on in command? And that's what I went to classes for. That's what I went to study for, to learn how to command a room and get presence.
Yeah, you made a lot of great notes. And what I always tell the bride and the groom when actually they want to assign somebody that has absolutely no experience on the mic is that especially if they're hiring an MC, like, brother or so forth, is that they don't realize that they've also assigned them to be part of the bridal party. So at that point, they've discarded the idea that who's going to introduce them. And another thing too is they don't realize that yes, they are trying to bond with that extra relative or friend or family member, whoever, Uncle Joe. But at that point, they don't realize too that even though they've asked that person or that person has volunteered and come forward and volunteered to do it, is that they're going to be working, so they're not going to be having fun. Right. Or they're not going to be doing all those extra shots because they're now concerned about the next speech or the next thing that's going to come and the next itinerary. So that's a lot of things that I always tell the bride and the groom is that, in, like how you mentioned, is let the professional do it and we'll help them. And in this case, because they don't realize that they're working.
Well, here there's something that you said that I find so key. You said shots. As an MC, I don't drink. I don't go to the bar. I don't drink. I have the wait staff bring me drinks, and it's always, they know it's the same thing: ginger ale and apple juice, ginger ale, orange juice, any of that stuff. Because to me, when you're a family member or stuff, you're gonna go to the bar and drink with your family.
Yeah.
And how do you feel having somebody on the mic that's introducing all this stuff tipsy?
Yeah.
Drinking. It doesn't. Say. What did he say? Say again, Jimmy. What did he say? It's like, yeah, and then they're tipsy. The information ain't coming out properly. So here's the other thing: is I never drink at any events. I don't drink, period, because I feel that I'm giving you my 110%. Okay,
so Charles, to that defense, and I'm not saying for myself because I've worked with many different MCs. Some MCs need that, what they call liquid courage.
Well, listen. Okay, hold on. Listen, I've had just the other day. It was a best man, and he's like, "Oh, let me know." I said, "Don't worry," but I said, "I'll come to you half an hour before and let you know." He's like, "Okay, I gotta run to the bathroom." Okay, you're good. He's like, "I gotta run to the bar." He's like, "Okay." He goes, "I need 3 shots." I said, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa!" I said, "You can take 1 shot just to get you going, and I'll keep these 2 when you come back."
I'll keep them over here.
Yeah, I'll keep them over here because he just, like you said, he needs that little to have that courage. But then that's what I'm there for, to his left, because I actually go up with them as well.
Okay.
So just so they feel comfortable, I'll make sure the mic gets turned on. Because you ever see them push the button, or the number 1 rule, Jimmy?
Yeah, gotta love that.
Is it on?
Yeah, you're gonna pop my speakers when you do that.
Don't you testing? Can you guys hear me? Can everybody hear? Like, yes, we can hear you. It's all good. So these little tips, I tell them, don't touch the mic, don't bang on it, do little things, and then I always tell them,
don't drop it.
Don't
Listen, drop it. They don't realize how expensive microphones are.
Yeah, because they want to do this. They want to do their speech and go, mic drop. And they don't realize that you just destroyed the mic for the next 2-3 people right after you. Okay? No mic drops. Okay.
It's okay. It's okay. The DJ has spares. The DJ will bring another one.
Oh yes.
It's like candy. It's candy.
Yeah, the DJ has 6 or 7 heads that he could just turn on and turn off. Like, I understand they want to do a great job, but let me tell everybody, the great job is not in the acting, it's the words you use. It's the meaning of your speech. And here's the key thing to everybody out there. Okay? 4 minutes. 4 minutes is the longest your speech needs to be. Okay? No more, no less. When you start passing the 5, 6, 7, 8 mark, you've lost your audience. You've lost the impact. Okay? So 4 minutes. You can get a powerful speech out in 4 minutes.
And if you need help with your speech, you can always call Charles and he'll help you with the speech.
Yes, I will. And that's something I've done before. I've actually written speeches for people and just help them out with the speech, because they would say some words. I'm like, ooh, yeah, take that line out.
Okay, so I got a question for you, and here is again where we go back to the bride and groom question, or even a corporate or anything. How do I know to choose the right MC, or what can I do to see whether his validity of how well he does and carry an event? Like, how does somebody find out, or how does somebody check?
In this industry, it's called referrals. Referrals. I always get referrals from all my past guests. I get referrals, and then I get video referrals, voice referrals, not written referrals, because I could write a dozen referrals for myself and just put them up. But when you actually hear the person talk, when you actually hear the bride and groom with a video saying how great I was, those are your calling cards. That weight in gold of a bride saying, "Yo, Chuck slammed it. Chuck, he made us feel comfortable. He actually did this, and this for us. He slammed it." That is the best calling card I can ever ask for.
Great.
Social media is there; they can watch all my videos and everything. But getting a bride and groom to actually leave you a message is key.
So hold on. So I wanted to ask. So you're emphasizing that you're saying that there are, to be assured that an MC does have a so-called exposure of video.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, they could say, "Oh, I've MC'd." Okay, so do you have any photos or anything? No.
MC photos.
How does that work? No, nothing. I'm like, okay. Where have you MC'd? Oh, many places. Okay, is there anywhere I can look? No, but I've done it. Like, no. There's got to be some type of trail. Call up some. And the thing is, okay, say as an MC, you don't have any brides and grooms. You must have DJs. I can call 9 DJs and say, I've worked with this DJ, worked with that DJ, worked with this DJ. Call any of those DJs and see how I worked with them. You know what I mean? The DJs are your vouchers. The banquet hall itself. Here's the thing that people don't understand. When you're a great MC, the banquet hall will refer you, because you work with their staff so well that the staff says, "Oh, I want that MC back. The MC was great. He helped us out. He told all the guests to leave the markers on the table. He told the guests not to clank the glasses. He helped us out by clearing one side of the room so we could set up the dessert line. Like, these are the things that an MC does to help out the facility and the wedding at the same time. I've actually had wedding halls call me and say, these people are getting married. They're looking for an MC. We referred you. And I was floored. I was like, oh, thanks.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's about that flow, that aspect of flow, right? It's about creating a good flow for the night and ensuring that things are going off without a hitch.
Yes.
That's amazing. Now, I want to ask you, because this is a topic that we've talked about many times on the show, but it's about MC Kitchen must work hand in hand. That is true. I believe that 100%. But before we get into that, what should the MC wear?
Oh man, I was waiting for somebody to ask me that question. Okay,
not the person who specializes in it, because that'd be the sales pitch.
I was like, somebody ask me that question, please. Okay, I'm so glad you asked me that, Breeza, because to me, on my form, I asked the bride and groom, "What is your colors?" Because I'm part of the. I'm going to be in the photos. I'm going to be part of the wedding, because when I get up to do their first dance or bring them to cut their cake or stand in the middle of the floor and the wedding party's behind me, I represent them as well. Yeah. So if I don't look proper and then I'm in each photo, like I'm going to get caught in most of these photos, I want to represent to make their photos look great. So what I usually do is I go to Nick and I say, Nick, the bride and groom is wearing purple. What do you got for me? And he'll pick out some type of purple to match or whatever. And when I walk into the hall and the bride and groom looks at me, and it's mostly the brides. The brides are like, "Oh my God, you're wearing our colors! How'd you know? You're all dressed up like you're part of the groomsmen." And then the groomsmen will take a picture with me because they feel like, "Oh, he's one of us now. He's wearing the thing." And most times if they go to Nick, I'll be like, "Nick, what?" Here's the other thing too. I always ask them, "Nick, this is your bride and groom that I'm dealing with. What suit are the groomsmen wearing? Because I don't want to be putting on the same thing and take it away from them. So I don't want to wear the same jacket. I don't want to wear the same stuff." So he always finds me something else to flow with them, so I'm not matching, because it's their day.
Yeah.
You know White dinner jacket?
Yeah.
White dinner jacket to look like the groom?
That's what my one thing, because I've seen MCs come in and just
flash, jazzy, all colors, and
and I'm like, the focus is not you. The focus is on the bride and groom.
This is what I've seen in weddings when, like, Nick just said flashy and colorful. The only thing that comes into my mind is that's what comes to my mind.
And the funny thing is, I've seen it. That's the problem, because they didn't coordinate with them. They didn't ask them. So, and I'm telling, and not just for me as an MC, I'm talking to all vendors. All vendors. If you're going to someone's wedding, please, I don't care if you're a photographer, videographer, DJ, MC. I don't even care if you're going to set up the lighting or switch, the people that switch from the outside wedding to inside. Look proper. The guests are looking at you.
Or at least we're all black.
Something. One all black is fine. Sneakers, tights, black jeans, I don't care. Look like a team. But when you see some of I'll give you an example. We did an outside wedding, and then they had to convert it from the outside wedding and bring all the stuff in for the hall. But the staff they weren't coordinated. They didn't have like all the same brand t-shirts or nothing. They just look like people walking up and through the hall as guests are coming in and out. They're setting it up. It doesn't look professional.
Yeah, I did a wedding and there was a vendor. I'm not going to mention what they were, but I don't know if he does this as a part-time, but it looked like he had just come out of finishing a basement, wearing
I
construction.
And don't get me wrong, I know for sure you got like 3 weddings on the go, 2 weddings on the go. It's a hectic day, but at the end of the day, it still represents each wedding you're going to.
Yeah. Now, I want to mention a little bit about what Excursion Limos said, that the MC and the kitchen have to work together. But I believe that you work as a liaison at that point with all the vendors.
Yes.
That is what you do.
Yeah.
Because you are running the show. You make sure that everything runs on time, not just like you were saying before, the photographer, the videographer, and so forth. You want to know who these people are way before the wedding, because at that point you don't want to be asking these questions on the day of. I mean, they're once they arrive, it's go time.
They're busy. And to go on that point with the kitchen, when I say I talk to the kitchen, I always find out who is the floor manager of the night. And then I ask the floor manager, these are certain things that some MCs don't ask. Is it being plated? How's it served? Is it French service? Is it, what style service you're doing? How many courses is it?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I know when to bring up each guest between each course. Do you do full plated course? Do you do full tables first? Who's the last table? I said, when you serve the last table, wave at me so I know all tables are seated first. Then I'll bring the next guest up. Because people are not listening and they're clanking glasses. And I don't want the staff to be walking through trying to pick up glasses and not make any noise while there's somebody doing a speech. So you definitely have to work with the floor manager and the wait staff and find out, how do you guys do it? You guys come out with, some banquet halls come up with that full tray.
Yeah.
That black tray, bang, 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 walking between tables. Some of them do it by all in one hand. Some of them clack 16 by 12. So you got to
walk through the main dance floor.
Oh, jeez.
Now, I have another question for you, because I get this question quite a bit, is games. You have the bride and the groom that won a lot of games.
Yep.
How do you, and there's other brides and grooms that don't want any games.
No.
But I mean, what do you do as fillers? Talk to me a little bit about games. Games in certain cultures is a huge thing.
Yes. And some weddings, that's all it is. Games. Like there's no dancing. It's just pure game after game after game. So that's the other thing that I've taught myself is I did some research on different cultures and what they like and what they don't like. Traditions, certain traditions, like some cultures do a money dance. Okay. And how long the money dance goes for? What song does it do? Is it round one? Is it round two? How many times for the night does the money dance? Who's supposed to pick up the money? How's it supposed to work? So I've learned these different cultures and say, okay, uncle, where are you at? It's time for this. It's time for that. So
Charles, question for you about the money dance.
Mm-hmm.
Does the bride and groom give you an amount that they have to have?
Well, to be honest with you, the first time they said, yo, we want to make this. And I'm like, okay, my job is to hype them up, make sure everybody keeps getting up. And then some cultures, you got to be prim and proper. And some cultures with the money dance, if people are sitting down, they're like, go get them. So I'm like, okay. So I'm on the mic and I'm going into the audience and it's like, yo, uncle, get up. Let's go. Auntie, get up. Let's go. And they love it. They want me to go and grab uncle and the cousin. I'm like, aren't you the guy from New York? Yeah. So why are you still sitting here? We need some New York dollars. Let's go. Like they love it. And then some people, like you said, when it comes to the games, you have to know what game to play that's not offending the rest of the family members, but are still fun. So there's some games that, the bride and groom, they love to see the other people do. And in some cultures, if they're religious and stuff, it's like, don't you dare play that game. You know what I mean? Don't even try it. Don't even think it. Okay. So it works. And then again, that's where a good MC works with any DJ. A good MC needs to work with any DJ, and that they can coordinate, because the DJ and the MC have to be on the same point. Yeah. So if I go like this and I give all my DJs certain keywords. So if I say, you guys ready? Well, let's check it out. 1, 2. Jimmy knows if I say 1, 2, play the song. Mm-hmm. And then he's like, oh, he said 1, 2. None of this. I'm ready, Jimmy. Play, go, Jimmy. Yeah, I'm ready now. Play. No, none of that. We got to be on the same page, right? And that what makes the games even better.
Yeah, and it's also those other sound effects. It's like it's the synchronization is so important, because it is the flow.
Yep.
It sometimes it's not even about the 1, 2. It is literally what you're saying and Jimmy or Eddie DJing having the sound effects in the background. I love that.
So here it is. For me, I love it. If a DJ is working with me, so say I'm talking about, SpongeBob, and I'm making a joke about, the guy dancing like SpongeBob or something, and then out of nowhere, Jimmy has a sound effect. then I'm like, give him free reign. I love that he can ad lib and work with me and add that in, because then the crowd's gonna like it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't want to work with somebody and they're just, you're the MC. Let me know what I'm supposed to do. Well, you're the professional. Work with me. You know what I mean?
Charles, you've been at so many events. Tell me what has been the most outrageous request that has been, asked of you.
Most outrageous. Oh, it was early in MC work. Summer's like, oh, do me a favor. Can you go dance with this person? And I was like, okay, I don't mind dancing with them, but they were dancing wasn't on their mind. Okay. Okay. I'm on the dance floor. I'm on the dance floor. I'm like, woo, yeah, okay. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, nope, not. Thanks for the one dance.
It's like that's way beyond the MC duties, right?
But
that's additional service, right?
Those are the logistical matters that we have to deal with.
Yeah, that service was supposed to be before the wedding. That's not happening now. Okay. But here's a funny thing too. I love learning tips and tricks that I can pass on. So I'll give you a quick story. So I was getting the groomsmen all set up, had the groom ready, and he's all ready in the back, and he's all nervous, and they look good. But the thing is, all their shirts were buckling up. And I'm like, guys, just your shirts. And they're like, okay. And they're all doing this, trying to stick their hands in their pants. And I'm like, hold on. I'm like, where'd you get the suits from? They're like, oh, and I said, here, let me teach you something, a little trick. So I go, put your hands in your pocket. And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, you see that little hole? Do you feel like a little hole in the corner? They're like, yeah. I said, put your fingers there, squeeze them, and pull it down. So they're all doing it. And they're like, yo, you're a genius. How did you know about that? That's wild. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, because Nick taught me that. So I'm passing what I know from other people in the industry, and I'm passing it as the MC to make them feel comfortable. You know what I mean? I'm fixing their collar. I'm looking at their sleeve and going, oh, the buttons. I'm like, where are those? How come the black buttons? They're like, these? I don't know what they're like. They're in the guy's hand. It's in his pocket. He's like, I didn't know what to do with these things. I'm like, oh, they're your buttons, your cufflinks. He's like, what? So I'm putting them on for them. And he's like, dude, thanks. And it's not because it's nothing to us. This is what we do. We want to make sure they look good. But I give that extra service. I don't mind helping out. I'm there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Why not help somebody out? I'm there.
Yeah.
So Charles, I got two things for you.
Yep.
First of all, what happened to your modeling career?
I got married.
Oh.
Wow.
Because
I'll let you know he was literally, I don't know if you guys remember this, but he was like, every time you used to go to the Bell stores and you would look at the Bell Mobility, he was the Bell Mobility guy, the business guy on the train doing the thing with his cell phone and a pager.
So my career started off as the Big Mac. So you know the Big Extra?
Mm-hmm.
So I launched the Big Extra in Canada. Wow. It was me and the Mulberry guy.
Where's the picture? Where's the picture? Show the picture.
Listen, I've been searching for that picture for years. If anybody knows where that picture is, or anybody that works for McDonald's, I need a copy. Okay. And yeah, the guy that used to be the Mulberry guy, he was the guy in the picture with me. So we had firefighter uniforms on, and I had the burger, and he's looking over my shoulder, and then I'm just about to slam into that burger. But that picture went nation. Like, it was in Niagara Falls. It was all over Canada. My cousin took a picture of it in the bus shelter and sent it to me, and I can't find the picture. So please, anybody that can find that first picture of my career, that was my very first picture of my career modeling. Please, I'm begging you, find it, send it to me. It's a Big Extra guy. I'm wearing a firefighter's outfit. He's got it, and I'm holding the Big Extra. There you go.
I love it. All right, so Charles, we talked about all the do's. What are, I would say, the top 3 or the top 5 don'ts? The nitty-gritty. Come on.
Okay, don't just leave the MC work up to a family member. Oh, Jimmy and I talked about it. He's not a professional. So if you want him, hire somebody to work with him. Number 1. Just don't leave him up there by himself. Okay?
Or herself.
Or herself, yeah. So that's absolutely correct. But to be honest with you, I'd rather see them pick a female family member over a male. and I'll tell you why.
Whoa. Okay, finish, and I have something that I need to add to that.
Okay, I'll tell you why. When it's a female family member, they just do it normally. They just want to, and I'm sorry, fellas, I've done this for years. They don't need to show off or feel like they have to overdo it. So a female member will just go up there and she'll just read it and she'll do her thing and whatever. For some reason, when it's a guy family member, he thinks he has to be the MC, and that's when it all snowballs the other way.
WrestleMania!
That's what it is. He thinks it's WrestleMania. He thinks it's he's at the strip club or something, whatever. So I'm sorry, but if you're gonna pick a family member, pick a cousin, a female cousin. That's just my suggestion. Okay, I know all the guys are gonna kill me for that, but it's true.
Oh wait! Before you go with the next one, Charles, how do you hold the microphone? Do you hold it like this, or do you hold it like this?
Oh, well, it depends. Have you been watching Rap City or the guy the night before? I don't know why. Some people are like, yo, yeah, okay, 1, 2. Like, okay, this is not Rap City. They've been seeing things on TV. And then some of them are holding it and it's way down here. And they're talking and I tell everybody, you have to eat the mic. So you got to put it in your mouth. That's why it's a microphone. You got to hold it. So it's basically like this one. You can hear everything I'm saying, but as I'm talking, if I pull the mic down, my voice just got real different from when I'm doing it. Or if I'm talking and they hold it way out here, it still sounds good. But when I bring the mic right into my voice, then it's, that's the way they want to hear. They want to hear that sound. They want to hear the echo. Because here's the problem with that. If someone doesn't talk properly in the mic, the poor DJ, i.e. Jimmy, is constantly doing this. To the max, back down. Volume up, back down. Volume up, and his poor speakers are going pop, pop, because each person that's coming up doesn't know how to hold the mic. He's got to gauge it 24/7. So if everybody knows how to hold the mic properly, he can leave it at one tone and good to go. No one's blowing speakers on everybody. So
yeah. And to mention, basically on female people on the mic is, it ties in with what you were saying before, is you as an MC know how to draw people in, and it's not the MC's job to hype or to, how should I say it? Girls have a higher pitch, in the voice. And I went to one venue, an event, and the MC was female. And then she goes to the audience. She goes, everybody, put your hands together, everything. And then she goes, woo! And I'm like, oh no! Because at that point, the MC, it's your job for the audience, the guests, to say woo, not you, especially you high pitch. My ears were like, oh man!
Jimmy just went, there goes my $900 speaker. There goes my tweeter. There goes my speakers.
Yeah.
So here's the thing too, ladies and gentlemen, if you're going to pick an MC that goes with the flow. So if you want it to be serious, fun, exciting, every MC, some MCs are not versatile. So that's the thing. Some MCs are just straight, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the bride and groom, and we're going to have some fun. Thank you. Next we have coming up, and that's just them. Research, because that's them. That's their excitement. That's all they're getting, excitement.
They're monotone.
They're just straight monotone for the whole thing, and you're like, oh, somebody shoot him with a dart. Do something. Wake him up.
Tranquilize him. Take him out.
You know what I mean? And then you got the other ones. It's like, yo, we're at the wedding. It's the best wedding yet. Yeah. Woo! Yo, Jimmy, hit that song. We're going to party all night. We're going to drink at the bar. Coming up next is the father of the MC. Yo, Dad, you ready? I'm like, somebody shoot him with a tranquilizer. Okay? It's like, guys, you know what I mean? So you need somebody to know when to get ready, how to bring the crowd in. And you can be both, but there's a time to be both, and there's a time to, bring somebody on. If it's a moment that needs seriousness, a moment of silence. Sometimes they do a moment of silence because somebody passed away and couldn't be at the wedding. That's the time for you to be serious. Someone just had a baby or it's their birthday that time. Okay, hype them back up. And then there's sometimes you just, you're calling up the father of the bride and you want everybody serious because he's got a serious message. Okay, but it can't be all over the place. Pick a lane, people. Pick a lane.
I think it was so important for you to kind of explain what you do, the role of an MC, because it's so important. A lot of people don't give credit to MCs, and a lot of people trying to downscale their wedding where they want to just have a DJ / MC because of budget, especially with COVID. A lot of the numbers for events went down. But I truly believe in having a professional MC. It makes all the difference.
Yeah, I agree 110%. And not just because I'm MC. You don't have to hire me. I've been to some weddings and there's no MC, so nobody knows what's going on. No one's telling them step by step. No one's explaining, okay, guys, in a few minutes, your first course is coming out. Okay, in the next few minutes, like they're not engaging. And the thing is, people are just sitting there hungry. They need to know what's going on. They're like looking around. Is there a hashtag? Is there supposed to be taking pictures? Like what's going on right now? A good MC will be always talking to them, making sure they feel good. And an MC also thanks. Here's the one thing I'm going to give one tip out to every MC. Thank the wait staff and the bartender at the venue. Okay, because then they feel happy from working 4 hours. You thank them, everybody claps for them. Guess what? Now they're just regenerized again, and they're going to give you another 4 hours of service because they thank them. They feel, oh, you guys appreciate what we're doing? Okay, great. I've seen them go through the whole thing and not thank them at all, not thank the bartender for pouring all these 10,000 shots, and after a while, they feel unappreciated. So thank the staff. Always thank the staff.
That's amazing. Thank you so much.
Hold on. Before we finish, Charles, I want to know
Mm-hmm.
what has been your worst experience as an MC?
Fights. I've had fights. I've had fights before the wedding.
Wow.
Like family members not getting along, they're stressed out, and they're like, I actually had to take family members in the back and say, hey guys, I know I'm not part of the family, and then try to like hear all sides. Calm them down and say, hey, see, we're all on the same page here. I know you want to get married. You want to be happy for your family. This is what you want. You want to be involved, but this is not the time. I said, we're about to go out there. Are we good? Yes. I said, if anybody has a problem, I'm the guy to scream and yell at. I said, if you have a problem, this is your ear. If you have a problem, this is your ear. And I'm like to the bride, you right here, me and you, nobody else right here. And then we went out and did the wedding. But the wedding was an hour and a half behind because I had to calm them down before the wedding.
Wow.
So that was like I've never seen it before. I've never seen anybody, the family just start rawr, rawr. I was like, oh my God, don't drink the water, whatever's in it, don't drink it.
It happens more often than you think. It does. But it's about having great entertainers like yourself. That it's just throwing yourself in the moment, and that's what I find is a great emceeing is that they can really adjust and be versatile for whatever happens, because at an event, you never know what's gonna happen. You never know. Like power going out, food being delayed, somebody who falls and trips. Like you don't know. You don't.
And I've seen like someone's pants rip, the bride's thing rips, or they can't find the bouquet, and all these. Like, listen, guys, all these things are gonna happen. Okay, your MC will take over. Your DJ will take over and say, "Listen, okay, she can't find her bouquet. Don't worry, we'll do this instead. You can't find this. Don't worry, we'll work with this instead." It's not a game changer. It's just a little bump in the road.
Yeah.
So don't let it bother you to think, "Oh, it's over. We can't." No. That's what we're there for. And I have one rule to all my brides and grooms. They never get up. The only time they get up is if they have to use the bathroom. But if they need anything, I tell my brides, if you need anything, reach over and rub your husband's head. And if I see you rubbing their head, I'll walk over. That means you want something. And I say,
what about if the groom needs something?
I always tell him, kiss her on the cheek.
Aww.
So when I see you kissing your bride on the cheek, then I know you need something. And then I'll look at him, I'll go like this. I'll look at the groom and I'll go, and he'll say yes. I know he wants a drink from the bar. You know what I mean? They don't need to get up. Today's their day. They need to be served and relaxed. And I'll look at the bride and she'll be like, oh, she'll point to a table. And I'll be like, oh, somebody at that table. So I'll go over to the table and say, hey, the bride wants to know if you guys are okay and anything's wrong. And then they would tell me. And then I walk over to the bride and tell the bride. They don't need to be getting up. That's their day.
So you're not only an MC, you're an event planner, an event person, and you just kind of manage the day. You psychologist, you.
That's what we signed up for, Nick. You know, when we work with the brides, that's what I signed up for.
So Charles, where can people? I know you put the websites up, but let people know. I know we run the show, like we're part of the show in itself. But you know, where can people find you? Where can they? You know, they reach out to you. Like give them up.
Well, there it is. That's my website. And then, like you said, I've actually started doing the Emcee website. So if you want just the Emcee website, you can go to charlesmatthewsjr.com and just look at all my pictures, my videos, my referrals, things I've done. I have a talk show that's on there so you can hear my voice. Here's another thing, too, what my voice sounds like, what I sound like when I'm hyped and excited. It's all right there.
Awesome. And what are some of the other projects that you're working on, virtually as well? Like I know you do a lot of virtual stuff now. So tell us some of those projects.
If you're looking for, excuse me, I killed myself when I was yelling a while ago. See, that's the other thing too. When you yell, you lose your voice. Working on virtual stuff. So if anybody's doing any events that you need virtual assistance in, we do a live production. So we help you get your wedding, your birthday parties, events out virtual. That's what we'll be doing now because of COVID. And I know sometimes you're saddened that you can't do an event. Call me. I'll make sure that we find some type of way of putting out the same event, but virtually.
Love it. Well, thank you so much, Charles.
And Charles, you're doing podcasts now too, right?
Yes, I do a podcast show called Jump Podcasts every Wednesday on all platforms. And then I do a live TV show called The Charles Matthews Show. And you can catch that every morning at 11 a.m. And I'm going to hire Jimmy as my promo guy. Trust me. Give it up for Jimmy.
You got to do it,
Hold on. Jimmy gets this. Hold on. There you go.
Oh, I got it. Yeah.
Jimmy
but the thing is, like again, because of COVID, you had to actually evolve. This was stuff that you weren't doing before, right?
Yeah,
I gotta say we didn't evolve. We're doing things we said we always wanted to do, and now there was the excuse not to do it, but we did them.
Yeah, and that's the main thing that brides and grooms are realizing now that hey, we can still do what we need to do. It's just on a smaller scale. But you can still invite hundreds of people to watch. Like right now, our show is on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, all those platforms. You guys can watch the show and watch the replay live. And that's the beauty of it. Somebody in England that couldn't make the wedding is watching it now. Somebody that's in Jamaica, Barbados, France, Italy, they couldn't make it. They can sit and watch it right now. So that's the beauty of going online streaming.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It sounds like we should be contacting Swiss Chalet and say, how would you like to do delivery for weddings? I had to pitch. I'm sorry, I had to throw that idea. E-Boosta's working for me right now. I don't know anything else.
We went to Swiss Chalet chicken for the weddings. I love it. Hey, all I'm saying is if you're bringing my order, I need 2 dipping sauce, okay? You can't just have 1 dipping sauce. You need 2 dipping sauce.
Well, thank you so much, Charles. We had fun today. Thank you so much, Nick and Jimmy, for all the questions. I love all the little sparkling and all the confetti.
Special effects.
Yeah, because Nick and I have never gotten one of those. So, all right. So
just for you, Jimmy. Just for you.
We'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Our show is every other Sunday at 5:00. So we'll see you then. Have a great night, guys.
See you, everyone.
See ya.
Since 1969, our father and proprietor of Andrews Formals and Anthony's Menswear has followed a business philosophy built on integrity, determination, and loyalty to the customer. Through hard work and perseverance, Andrews Formals has become one of the leading formal wear retailers in Toronto. We are based on traditional guidelines, with a modern twist, in order to provide classic formal wear looks as well as clothing to fit current trends for the new generations of men. Give us a call, 416-783-8181, or visit andrewsformals.com.